Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome, friends, to episode number 111 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. We all know the power of focus and how if we could stay focused for a little bit longer or a lot bit longer on what matters most, then we would be able to do so much more in the time that we have. And in this culture of distraction and multitasking, it is often a feeling of impossibility to stay focused on one thing at a time. Today, we'll review how to actually stay focused so that you can finally get yourself off the hamster wheel of doing and be able to bring your projects and goals into completion. In order for us to finish the things that we start and to actually achieve without burning out, we need to stay focused. Focus is to keep something at the center of your attention, your actions, and your interests. And many of our best intentions fall to the wayside when we don't stay focused. We seem to lose interest in our goals. We get partial results. Think about any New Year's resolutions. We consider it to be self-sabotage or that something is inherently wrong when that happens. In terms of, we just don't have that within our capacity. We're just not that type of person who does this. We're not physically fit. That's why we don't keep exercising. We're not someone who has a relationship or a very successful career doing this thing that I want to do, and that's why we don't have the relationship or career we desire. And we think to ourselves, I'm not who I want to be, so why bother? What if this isn't necessarily true? What if it was simpler than what you considered? What if you're being bored? Or what if you lost interest? And what if you just thought it would take a lot less time or be a lot easier than it was? And if that was the case, then nothing has gone wrong. You're just bored. You've just lost interest. You just thought it would take a lot less time than you thought it would be, or you thought it'd be easier than it was. You can get back on track. And when I coach, this flow state is often missing when time management tools and strategies are implemented, but they're not working, they're not sticking. And you'll often see exponential results when those kind of strategies, those tactical day in, day out life management and time management skills and strategies are coupled with a better understanding of yourself, how you are creating your experience of focus and flow, and what you can do differently to find it again. So staying focused and on track in these big and small ways is much more about curating your experience of each moment than on the thing itself. If you get tired of chasing money goals, you will lose focus. If you get tired of a relationship, you lose focus. If you are bored and you decide to stop doing that one task and switch to something else, you lose focus. So what if it was more about creating and finding interest than in asking us to stay focused? Often we beat ourselves up with timers, or we try to bribe ourselves with extrinsic rewards. That doesn't work in the long term if you haven't done the flow analysis work first. Timers might work for the short term, but you will look at a timer eventually and just ignore it. You will look at the extrinsic reward like a trip or a purchase and think, it's not that great. You'll think that this reward is not enough to get you into action because the goal you're trying to achieve or the task that you're working on is not only not fun at all, but it is also true that you can just go out and have that extrinsic reward without ever doing the work. So we can't just trick ourselves into believing these things. But what if we could actually find fun and allow that to keep us motivated, to keep us focused? And I'm not saying to find the fun that comes in terms of distracting yourself from the task at hand or distracting yourself from these big goals. What I'm saying is that there could be this intrinsic sense of fun, enjoyment life within the thing you're doing that makes it compelling. It makes it interesting to you. And it allows you to focus because you want to focus. You desire to focus, not because someone tells you to, but because it is something you want to do. You have a deep interest in what's going on right in front of you. So much so that you don't want to lose that focus. It's that good. And when you say focus because of fear of failure, which is what we often use to drive us to focus, it is a very different experience than working and living from the desire to express all of yourself, to know that you have a lot more to give to the world, and to act from that place is so much more enjoyable. You don't want to stop when you're in that state of flow. You don't want to just end here. You have to almost cut yourself off. So working from enjoyment and interest is powerful and much more motivating than working from a place where you are worried about not doing what you're supposed to do. So both the fear and the intrinsic motivation keeps us focused. But intrinsic motivation and flow actually keeps us focused and for longer, and in flow states for longer. And this is why when I work with my clients, we actually spend time understanding what is meaningful to them. We do a flow analysis. You need to know what activities bring meaning and heart to your life and examine all of those things to know how you work. If you know what motivates you and what allows you to feel like you're working and living in that feeling of flow instead of working and living in fear of failure, it changes everything. So this is a creative pursuit more than a technical one. We sometimes feel like professionals aren't creative, or creatives aren't very professional. Yet the ability to create something and stay focused is what makes anything we have come to fruition. You need to attend to each thing you do as if you were a professional, which means someone who gets paid to do this as their main occupation. That is the definition of professional from the Oxford Dictionary. Someone who is paid to do this as their main occupation and not just a hobby. So books wouldn't be written if we didn't stay focused on writing. Projects wouldn't be completed without focus on each of the tasks. Businesses wouldn't be created if we didn't focus on the business and what needed to be done next. Kids wouldn't be raised appropriately if we didn't treat this as a priority. All of these things require us to put them at the front and center of our attention and activity, if not for a whole day, for the parts of the day where we are there, which is why presence is so important. So we have to be present as we are raising our kids, as we are having our relationships, as we are writing our books and working with our customers and our clients. We have to be present as we are making decisions that will shape the future of our lives and our work. So when we can attend to each small thing as if it were our work, and if we were being paid to do this one small thing at a high level, we would be so much more focused and productive than we are today. So I urge you to give this some thought. Is there a place in your life where you feel like you're missing a sense of purpose or feeling defeated? You've likely lost your focus and flow. Nothing is inherently interesting or compelling in and of itself. It is our perspective and what we make things mean that create interest, that create desire. So deeply desire the thing you have lost focus with, and you will find yourself naturally grateful, naturally interested in your work, your relationships, and your health again. And you will end up attending to the task as if you were a professional whose job it was to do this one thing at a high level. So in summary, there are these two ways to think about life. One as if nothing was interesting, and the other is as if everything was interesting. And I hope you choose the latter. So have an amazing week, my friends, and I will talk to you next time. And if you want to become the person who is engaged with all aspects of their life and is feeling success at all levels, you can reach out at mayemson.com/contact to schedule a consultation. It is the next step to learning more about whether or not coaching is right for you and how to make the best use of coaching for your journey. In our coaching together, we will simplify your life, create more freedom of choice, and learn how to live in the present moment. And if you join my coaching now at the time of listening to this podcast, you'll have access to join on the live teachings and the coaching in May on money, the psychology of money, the spirituality of money. We will be working together on how to take aligned action based on money goals. So we will have a challenge to create money in May based on that methodology. It will be fun. You will think at a higher level than you ever have before around money. And if you want this foundation to be able to take the risk and invest in yourself, your future, and your business so that you can 10x your growth, you will want to join us. And again, if you are listening now, or even if you're listening later, you will still have access to all of this content and all of the past teachings as well. So book a consultation at mayemson.com/consult to apply. A year from now, you'll wish you have started 2 years ago. Have an amazing, amazing week, and I love you. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.